So guys, in today's video we are going to do the practical aspect of using the pin mode function and digitalWrite function. So if you look at my screen, you will see I've just written some code. So I'm going to explain it, how the code works. So if you look at it, this is the pin mode. And by the way, before I explain this thing, let me show you a circuit that I just built. This is Pro Tools software. This is software we are going to use to be doing our practical. So this is the Arduino board. This is the LED. We want to turn this LED on. So I just use a 220 ohms resistor to reduce the current. So here, what the pin that I choose in this Arduino board is pin 4, pin 5, pin 6, pin 7 of the Arduino digital pin. So let me go to the code and explain it. So remember I said we use pin 4, 5, 6 and 7. So what I did is that I used this pin mode to set those pin as an output. So those pin is going to be an output pin. So that's what I use a pin mode function to set. You can see I use the way I just label it, and I ended it with a semicolon. So bear it in mind. Then this is under setup mode. If you watch, I told you something about setup, that the code runs once. Anything under this setup, void setup, is going to run once. You can see where they wrote it as a comment. I'm going to show you how it works. Then the digitalWrite, we put the code under the void loop. So you remember what I told you about loop is going to repeating itself. So under this void loop, what I did was I set pin 4, pin 5, pin 6 and pin 7 as high. So what I'm going to do, after writing this code, remember to put this code under these curly braces. You will see these curly braces here, opening and closing curly braces. This is to show that this is one set of instruction, right? So if you look at this setup, you will see the curly braces here. So any set of instruction that you are given, use a curly braces to separate it. I'm going to also explain it once we go further in the coding. So what you are going to do after writing the code, you save the code on a folder, then you compile it. Just verify it. You see that it will verify. If there is any error, the compiler under here, it will show us the error if there is any error, right? So let it compile the code, then we are going to test the code on the Pro Tools software. So wait for a minute while the code is compiling. So it's done compiling. So there is no error. You can see the message below. There is no error. So what we do in order to burn this code that we just compile now to that Arduino board, we go to Sketch. Since we are using a simulator, we are not using an actual board. So go to Sketch. Under Sketch, we go to Export Compiled Binary. So once you click it, it will export a hex file that you are going to burn in our simulating software, which is Pro Tools. So we'll see how this code is going to work. So any practical we are going to be doing, that is how we are going to be doing it using the Pro Tools software. If it requires to do a physical practical, I'll also show it in this course. So it's done compiling. So let's go to our Pro Tools. So this is the Pro Tools. I will double click on the board. Once I double click on the board, then you go to this place, select the file. You can see this is the hex file. So once you click the hex file, you click open and click OK. So the file is being burned into this microcontroller now on this simulating board. So what I'm going to do now is to play the simulation now and see what will happen. So look at the board and see what is going to happen. You can see that the 4 LED is turned on because we set all the whole pin high. So it is turned on. So what if we want to delay the on and offing of this thing? So I'm going to use a delay function. The work of this delay function is to pause all the whole program. So whenever you use a delay function, it will pause the program from some times that you set it. Then after that time is exhausted, the program will continue. So but this delay function It's not an advanced function to use where you want to do a multitask where you want to do a multitask program. We have another function, another another type of function that will pause a particular task and be doing other tasks. But whenever you use a delay function, the delay function will stop everything that is working in that particular line of code. Then after the time have exhausted, it will continue. I know you might be confused in this delay function, but let me show you how it works. So here in this void loop, we say digital write pin 4 should be high. So I don't want those LED to on at once. I want it to on one after the other. So what I will do, I'll use a delay function. So how do we write delay function? Just look at the screen and see what I'm doing. You see, whenever, like I told you, whenever you write a function, the color will change. So I write this function delay. Then we use the bracket and semicolon. So inside this bracket is where we specify the amount of delay that we want. So if you write 1000 here, that 1000 means 1 minute. So and that 1 minute is so long, so we are not going to use 1000 because 1000 signifies 1 minute in this delay function. So I'm going to delay it for 500 seconds, or yes, let me do it 500 seconds. Then what I will do is I will copy this and place it. So what will happen is that once and I told you that the way a program works is that the way compiler executes our code is sequential. Is sequence execution. That's how compiler execute our program. So what happens is that once the compiler come to here, it will turn on this pin 4, our LED at the pin 4 high. Then it will delay for 500 seconds. Then after 500 seconds, once we reach 500 seconds, it will now continue here. So whatever program that you kept under this delay will be hold. That's why I say it's not a good practical to use delay function whenever you want to do any multi-purpose tasks in your coding, because it will delay everything that is under it. But we have not come to that. What we are doing is just to show you how to use a delay function. So I will copy this, go to this line of code, then paste it, then go to this line of code also and paste it. So that is what is going to happen. So once the compiler come, it will execute this line of code. Once it execute this line of code, it will come here. The compiler will see that we say delay. So the compiler will pause every other thing for 500 seconds. After that 500 seconds, the compiler will now enter to this line of code, execute it. Then after that, it will come to this line of code and see that we put another delay. It will pause every other thing. So that is how the delay function works. So let's see the practical aspects in our simulating software. So don't forget to save the code first. Then I'm going to save it, compile it to check if there is any error. So let's wait while the thing is compiling to see if we make any mistake. So I'll also show you whenever you make a mistake how to identify it when the compiler will show an error under here. But now we have not come to that. I'm just trying to show you how to use the digital write. So I'll go to our sketch just as usual, export it so that we can able to get the hex file, this correction of code that we did. Mind you, if you do any correction here and you do not go to this export sketch to this export compiled binary, whenever you go to your Pro Tools simulation, the program that will run will be the previous program, not the current correction you make to the program. That's why whenever you make any correction, make sure you go to the sketch and export the new hex file. So let's go to our I'm going to the board. So click here. Then this is the new file. You will see the date, the hex file, the updated hex file. Then open it, click OK, then run the simulation. So let's watch what will happen. So watch what will happen. How the LED, you see the first LED is on. So it waits for some seconds before going to the second LED. Just watch what is going on in the screen. So after 500 seconds, you can see the second one is on too. So it will delay for 500 seconds and enter the third one, likewise the fourth one. So that is how the program works, you see, as you can see it in the screen, the way it is turning on. Then once you execute this thing, it will be constant because we are in the loop function. It will keep on repeating, but you're not going to see the process of on and off because we not turn it off. So you are going to see it like this. But what I was able to show you is that how to put a delay function to on this LED one by one instead of owning it at once by using a delay function. So this is all about today's video. In the next video, we'll see other things, other manipulation we can use to code. So thank you guys.